Hey everybody, welcome to the Creativity Cave. I am so excited to tell you about this brand new design team that I am a part of called Thinking Outside the Box, and it is designed to show you amazing box creations that you can make, and each month will have a different theme. Our first month is this month, and our theme is a chocolate dispenser box. Pardon me because I'm tipping this so that you can see it on the camera. But this is a box that I created using just cardstock and printed paper to decorate. I can fill it up with chocolate or any kind of small candy that will come out in this little dispenser. And I have to tell you, it kind of reminds me of Pam from The Office because she always had chocolate on her desk. I love it. So on the box that I have right here, I decorated this with painted autumn designer series paper, and then I actually just cut one of the sunflower flowers out from the sheet of paper. So here is a full sheet of that printed paper, and then I just cut this image out so that I could mount it on top and kind of highlight that pattern. Now I'm going to show you how to create this box. I'm going to do a slightly different version, but I'm going to give you the directions and measurements for this one, and then I'll show you all I'm changing is how high the box is, but I just wanted to kind of show you an alternative for that. I'm going to sit a couple of blocks right under there so you can kind of see it. And the nice part about this is you can eat your chocolate, or in this case Reese's Pieces peanut butter candies, as you go. So yay, what could be better, right? Okay, so to start with, you're going to need 3 pieces of paper, and you want cardstock. So this is going to create your box, this portion. It's 8.5 by 5 3/4 inches. And then you'll need a piece that is 4 inches square to create the lid or the box top. And then you'll also need a piece that is 3 inches by 4 inches, and this is going to form the little dispenser flap that comes out, okay? And I'll explain what all this means in just a second. So those are the 3 pieces of cardstock you need. Now I've cut those pieces out of black, and then we're going to go ahead and score and create this. So let's start with the largest piece. Now all of these photos, dimensions, instructions, and whatnot will be on my blog. There's a link in the description of this video, so make sure you check that out. And then you can also hop around to the other design team members who are all over the country, or I shouldn't say the country, they're all over the world. I'm the only one from the US. So I'm so excited to be a part of this. Now I am making just a slightly shorter box. So instead of 5 3/4 like I had on here, on this box right here and this piece of paper, I'm doing 4 3/4. You can change the height depending on what you want. Of course, you could change the width as well, but this was the easiest change for me to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is score at 1/2 inch. Okay, and the easiest way to do that is to just move it over to the 1/2 inch mark and then score. And then I'm actually going to flip it over. It's easier to do it on that side for those real small increments because there's nothing to hold your paper against on the actual 1/2 inch mark. Okay, I'm going to scooch it over to 2.5 inches and score, 4.5 inches and score, and then 6.5 inches, and look at that line is right there. Okay, then I'm going to flip it 90 degrees. So I've got my side that's 1/2 inch here. Then I'm going to do the bottom will also be 1/2 inch, like so. Okay, now on this piece, I'm just going to snip a few spots. I'm going to cut right here, right here, right here, right here, and then I can actually get rid of that little piece of paper. Okay, so if you look on here, all the dotted lines are score lines. So those are the score lines we just did at 1/2 inch, 2.5, 4.5, and 6.5 inches, and then score the bottom at a 1/2 inch, and then we got rid of this piece and then just did the little snips right here. Now we're going to come back to these 2 snips. We're going to actually go up a little higher on each of them, and that is so this slit will be created. Sorry. Actually, let me close this up so you can see. So there's the flap that's right here, and I need to create a little slit so that flap will slide in there, and you can actually close your box, which is nice. And so to create that, I'll just have to eat these, right? To create that, I'm actually going to extend the snips that I did right here up about another 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch, okay? So you can see, there we go. Next, we're going to do the other 2 pieces, the square box bottom, or I'm sorry, square box top. That's the square piece. We're just going to score at 1 inch on each side. So that's really easy. So 1 inch all the way around. And then I'm going to create, we're just going to create the top. So when I do this, I'm going to go just inside the line and then right on the score line. And that's going to create just a little divot to make the box fold up a little neater. Okay. So I'll do that on each piece, and we're cutting that out of the square, not the rectangle. Okay, so that divot goes into the square portion, not, so this is a square, this is the rectangle. So we want it on the square side so that it's nice and straight on the rectangle side. And believe me, this will make total sense when you put this together if you haven't done very many boxes. Okay, so we've got that piece done. That's easy to do. You can see I indicate you score here, and actually I should put score lines going down here because you're scoring there as well. Okay, and then I cut the little divots, etc. Okay, the last piece, we're going to score on 3 sides, the 2 shorter sides, and then 1 of the longer sides. So I did the 2 short sides, and these again are at 1 inch, and then 1 of the 2 long sides, just 1. Okay, and this is going to create that little dispenser. So on here, I'm going to do kind of some funky cutting. I'm actually going to go up from the bottom all the way to my score line. So I'm cutting that big long section on either side here. Then I'll cut in. So I'm actually going to cut out a rectangle entirely. And if you're more comfortable doing this cutting on your cutting or your trimmer, feel free. Now I'm going to cut from this point in to create sort of an arrow, but not really. Okay, so imagine this went all the way, you'd have an arrow, but this is like a blunt-ended arrow. And again, I'll do the same thing from my score line to my point. Okay, and then this is the dispenser that's going to edge that's going to tuck into those slits we cut earlier. This will all make sense as we start to assemble it. Okay, now in addition to my 3 pieces that I have scored and cut for my box, I also want some printed paper panels. So I have cut 4 printed paper panels, and they will just sit right inside each box. These are 4 inches long by 1 7/8 inch wide. So it'll just be a skinny little border around each piece. Okay, and we're going to adhere those in a little bit. First, I want to show you a little bit more on fixing this. You'll note on my box there is a little curved edge, so we're going to create that piece. Okay, now on mine, I did not adhere the printed paper first, which I should have. I did that second. So what I'm going to do is actually adhere this piece first, and then I'm actually going to use my 2-inch circle punch to oops, I got a little on there, but that's not a big deal because we're going to cover it up. So on this one, you'll note it doesn't go all the way to the top, and that's okay because the lid will cover this, so that's no big deal. Okay, so on here, I'm going to use my 2-inch circle and just punch this out. And because I've adhered my cardstock piece, printed paper piece first, it will line up all pretty. So I'm putting my 2-inch circle basically so that it reaches, the circle's reaching the two sides. Oh boy. And this is not punching super well. Let's see if we can get it this time. There we go. Okay, so you can see I did not go into either side. Okay. But I just have that nice little space there. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and adhere the remainder of my panels right now because that makes it easier. And I think it's a little easier to line these up nice and straight and whatnot when your box is flat. Okay, so there's 2 panels, and again, if it's not lined up exactly, that's okay because we're going to put a lid on this, so to speak. Okay. And I think this box would just be so much fun to brighten someone's day, whether it is a coworker at the office or just a friend, or of course, someone in your family. Who wouldn't like a box of chocolate that dispenses chocolate? I mean, come on. Okay, so to finish this up, I'm going to simply score on all of my score lines. You can certainly use a bone folder to get nice, good creases out of this, because that's what we definitely want, and that helps make a nice solid box. Okay, so then I'll score on each of these sections. And I think this would be so wonderful with Christmas paper, but to be honest, I didn't make one with Christmas paper because I don't have any Christmas candy yet. And if there is Christmas candy out there, I am incapable emotionally of purchasing it at this point in time. So there you go. I just could not justify Christmas candy at this point in time. I hope you will understand. Okay, so then we'll fold that in. Now, to give you a little bit more concept, this is the dispenser. This is going to form the bottom of your box. And then this is the bottom of the box that goes in like this. Okay, now let's do the flap over here next. I always like to line mine up ahead of time and make sure that it does line up and that we're good. Now, I highly recommend using liquid glue for this. Liquid glue does stick really well. I actually think it works better and is more permanent than, say, fast fuse or tear-in tape. So that is definitely what I recommend for adhering things like this. Okay, and then I just want to make sure it did not ooze out on the inside, which is good. Okay, now on the bottom, we want to put adhesive on the flaps that will point to the inside of our box. So I'm going to just put some adhesive on here just like I did on that last flap. Again, these are the flaps that will turn into the interior of your box. Okay. And then what we're going to do is these pieces are going to kind of fold in, okay, like so. And then we're going to tuck this piece. This is the piece you're going to see inside your box, and it's going to stick to that glue. But the way we're going to put it in is through here. And then if you have these little pieces that kind of stick out, let's just get rid of those. That was left over from the punching. Okay, so this piece is going to fit inside the box. And then the flaps should tuck in those little, sorry, my fingers are covering that up. This should tuck into those little slits that we cut up. Okay, so now you want to push it all the way in. Make sure, and actually I'm noticing that I need to trim just a skosh higher on my side here so that the flap will go in all the way. And this isn't critical to get right, because you can see I can fix this right now. So if they weren't quite long enough before, that's okay. All right, so again, we're going to tuck that piece in, put our little slits of our dispenser in like so, okay? And then we want to close that up. Now what I like to do is set this down, use my bone folder to kind of burnish those edges so they all adhere nicely to the bottom of our box. And then look at that. There's a little dispenser opening, and then it will close up all the way. How cool is that? Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, let's make our top. We're going to set that aside, let it have a little dry time. And so then these pieces will just go inside like this on either side. So I'm going to put some glue on the, on the two, just get rid of that, on the two interior pieces. Okay, and then we'll just fold those. I like to kind of push and make sure they are good and stuck down. And likewise, we're going to put some glue on these two parts. Okay. So there is our box top, which of course will fit snugly over our box. As it turns out, fairly snugly. But I think it's great because you don't want it to just pop off. Okay, now I have also cut a little piece of DSP to put on the top to decorate it. I guess I could have used Fast Fuse for that part, but whatever, it's okay. And then this DSP is all from the Spooky Night. All right, now let me grab some chocolate, or in this case, I have this giant bag of Reese's Pieces. Do not tell my family about it because they'll eat them. And I want to make more boxes with this. Okay, so I'm going to fill my box up like so. And this actually can hold quite a bit of candy. And then we'll cover this up. Oops, I told you my box was a little tight, but I like that. To be completely honest with you, I like that it's tight. I got it on before. Oh, there we go. Okay, so there comes, the candy. Isn't that awesome? I love how fun this dispenser is. Now, of course, we can embellish this. I'm thinking that a little black ribbon is in order. So I'll just take and cut myself a section and tie a nice bow at the top so that this is super cute. Of course, if I wanted to, I could decorate this with more stuff. So for instance, what if we took some of that Spooky Cat DSP and punched ourselves a spooky cat? What do you think? As soon as I can find the cats. Uh-oh. Where are the cats? Oh my goodness. Did I use them all up? I didn't think I had. Maybe I did. That's not good. I bet I did. Oh, I know where there's a piece. Sorry. Huh, I found one. Okay, so I'm thinking we could put a cat on here. Let me grab my punch. And did you know that the cats in the paper match the cats in, or match the cat punch? So look at that. One instant cat. And I think if we just pop this little kitty on top, that will be pretty cute. And you know what else we could do? Take and stamp Happy Halloween on here. Okay, so I'm going to take my Spooky Cat stamp set and do the Happy Halloween so that I can kind of finish this off a little bit. So we'll of course just stamp that in black on a little scrap of paper that I have here. So there's Happy Halloween. I'll take my little triple banner punch and punch the ends. Ooh, that got a little close. We'll stamp it one more time. Not quite so tight this time. And then we'll just trim the other end. All right. Now, if you loved this project, and I hope you did, please head on over to my online store. You can see a link for all the items I used on this project just below in the description of this video, or head over to my blog and you can see pictures with links. And you can purchase any of these items that you might need. Look at that! So cute. So I hope you had fun with me today. Thank you so much for stamping with me, and we'll see you again next month. Bye-bye, guys.